everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I work hard. I've been working hard for a very, very long time. And, after the Olympics, I was pretty much ended up with nothing. I worked my whole life to have an Olympic medal, and, I ended up working minimum wage, living in a bachelor apartment with a friend of mine and a 90-pound dog. I think the people that think that, oh, Ronda's only been around for 2 years and she gets a headline, that doesn't make sense. I haven't been around for 2 years. I've been working at this for 14 years. And, I think this is also kind of a little bit of an experiment to see how the women can, how well a women's pay-per-view event can draw. So to all the people that think I don't deserve, you could just wait for the fight itself, see how it does, and then we'll see if they're right or wrong. I think that probably the most interesting matchup would be me and Sarah McMahon, who is an Olympic medalist wrestler, who has, I think, about the same record as I do right now. She's undefeated, and I think she asked for another fight to prepare her first before she fought me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to fighting her, and I think it'd be great to have two, female Olympic medalists in two different grappling arts fighting each other, because it brings a level of credibility to the female fighters. I guess I had to learn how to do the girly thing a little bit more. When I was younger, I felt nervous to come into the gym ever with makeup on or dressed up, because all the guys would make fun of me, And so, even in high school, I wore baggy clothes every day. I felt ashamed of my arms. I never wore makeup because I thought if I screwed up or looked dumb, it looked like I was trying and failed. So I'd rather just not try. And now it's just kind of I have to force myself to try, and I just have to be ready. It's easier to deal with people saying bad things about you and how you look when you feel like you're not trying. And so, now I actually try to make my hair look nice and try to do the makeup thing. And, people still say you look ugly. It kind of hurts a little bit more when you're trying your best. But now it's just I just kind of got thicker skin about it now. When I was first starting to do MMA, I was actually debating on being a rescue swimmer for the Coast Guard, and they'd taken me to their base and showed me around. They said they'd try and fast track me to rescue swimming school, and I was on the Junior Olympic swimming team when I was a little kid. I was big into swimming before judo, and I surf all the time. So, and it's one of those cool things, fly in a helicopter, jump out, swim in big waves, save lives. I'm not a desk person, so it would have been a non-desk job. I would fight Buffalo Bill, because there used to be 60 million bison in North America, and just destroying of the bison population just did terrible things to the Native Americans and all. So I grew up in, I was born in Southern California, but I spent 7 years in North Dakota. My mom's business is still based off of Spirit Lake Sioux Reservation. We lived around Devil's Lake and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's just terrible. And if any person in history, and the poor buffalo, Jamestown, North Dakota, we had the biggest statue of a buffalo in the world. That was our tourist trap. And we had our own herd of buffalo, and I just love me some Indians and buffalo, and I hate me some Buffalo Bill. So he would get the business if it was today. I really don't consider myself so much the UFC champ yet. I really feel like, once I fight in the octagon and Dana White himself puts the belt around my waist after a win, I will consider myself, UFC champion. I know that, when they bring a new division in, they, with the WEC guys, they crowned Dominic Cruz and Jose Aldo champions when they moved it over. I understand that that's the way that it's done. But I'm a little bit conflicted about it, to be honest. I feel honored to be recognized as the champion, but I still feel like I have so much more work to do to feel validated myself. I guess there is added pressure, but I don't really think of it as a bad thing. I wouldn't have gotten as far as I did in the Olympics unless I was the type of person to fight above myself under a lot of pressure. So the more pressure it is, the better I fight, and I know that's how I work. And the thing is, Liz Carmouche is she's former Marine, veteran, and she's, I think, the perfect type of person to bring in for this first UFC fight, 'cause she's not going to be intimidated at all, by all of this. She's used to people throwing grenades at her. I don't know what Marines do, but I'm sure it's much more difficult than this UFC stuff. So, yeah, there's pressure, but I can deal with it.